Hi, my name is Natasha. Welcome to the Soft Adornments Knitting Podcast or Knitting Vlog. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since I've made one of these. That being said, I did record a few in the last year, and just either the sound would be weird or it got stuck in editing hell or whatever, but I'm here. I have made it very easy for myself to record this. I've decomplicated my setup a little bit, so I'm hoping that it sticks this time. But yeah, I'm just so happy to be here. I've been on a huge creativity kick lately, and I just really want to talk a lot about it. As you'll see, I have since moved into a new place, and I'm very excited that I get to have my own office, which I've turned into my craft room also. So when I work from home, I work here, but I also have this as my craft area, so it brings me some joy outside of having to work here. So I've been knitting a lot, of course. I've gotten back into crochet. Actually, before I even start talking about stuff, I have a coffee here. I've got a little candle. It's very kind of floral, jasmine-y almost, I feel like. It's by Tanaïs. They make really nice candles, and I think they might still have some in their shop. If you're so interested, it's one of my favorite candles. And you're seeing my very messy, brand new craft desk. I got the desk from the Azes section of IKEA, and I have just been really working at it. So that's kind of where I'm sitting. Today, in the past couple days, it's been very cloudy, cold here in Seattle, but I kind of like it, honestly. I don't think I'm a summer hater at all, but I think being a fall baby myself, my truest form comes into being in fall, cooking, dressing, all the ways. So that's kind of what's going on in this point here in time. Now I want to talk about all the stuff I've been doing. So yes, I've been knitting for sure. I've gotten back into crochet, which is really fun. I crocheted the I keep wanting to say look at my holes. I know it's not that. It's the Wholesome Top by Mermaid's Yarns. That was a really fun test crochet, and it really got me back into crochet for sure. I've been doing granny square type crocheting mostly. It's just really addicting, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. I've also gotten into sewing. You probably can't see, but I have my little sewing machine back here that I was gifted 6 or 7 years ago. And I only really started using it this year, actually. I made 2 baby quilts for my nieces, which I really wish I would have gotten pictures of before I gave them away. But one of them had this strawberry shortcake fabric featured in it. Actually, I'll show you. It's very cute. I still have some pieces left of it, so I want to be mindful of how I use it, but this is really sweet, yellow gingham strawberry shortcake all over. I used it as the backing fabric, as well as some squares in this kind of, I don't know how you would describe it. I guess it was a gingham patchwork pattern. So yeah, it was a gingham patchwork on the front, and then just this pattern on the back, this fabric on the back. Very cute. I actually got this fabric from, I think it was Seattle Recreative. That's our local creative reuse store. I'm going to talk more about them too, because I have some stuff I got from there that I'm very excited about. But yeah, just creative reuse stores are great. I love this fabric so much. What else have I been up to? Oh, I've been really into spinning since the last episode I released. So in the last couple episodes I tried to record, I talked a lot about spinning. So, but since they haven't made it to my YouTube channel yet, I feel like anybody who keeps up with my videos has no idea. But I've gotten super into spinning. I have multiple drop spindles. I have graduated to Turkish spindles now. and I was gifted a spinning wheel, an Ashford Kiwi 3, by my family for my last birthday, so I've been spinning up a storm. And I don't know, handspun has really just been inspiring me lately, like getting really close to the fiber and to the process of yarn making, not only choosing the colors and the fiber contents that go in there, but like putting your hand to it, like choosing how much twist you give it, or like how you ply it, what you ply it with. It's just, it's so special to get that close to your materials. And so, I don't know, just spinning and hand spun itself has really been inspiring me a lot, artistically. So that's been fun. With spinning, you get these like kind of fiber, I don't know, people might call it like fiber barf or whatever, but it's essentially like the little bits of fiber that kind of come off, or like for me, if I haven't spun a single enough, and then when I'm plying it, it might like start coming undone, so it'll just have these like little bits of like few inches of kind of half spun yarn that it's not worth like reattaching to the rest of your yarn. So I just kind of collect those, and I've started needle felting them. So this is my little fiber scraps in there, and then I'll just needle felt them. And I've been needle felting into little hearts, just because that's, I guess, what my brain naturally wants to make. And they're really cute and fun, and like you can make a little, like, I don't know, the little shaping of the heart is like a fun little challenge. So that brings me to what I've been doing most recently, which is making earrings and keychains, which is really exciting. So that's something I've been kind of collecting the materials for like, I don't know, a couple of years now. Here, I'll actually start just getting into that. By the way, as far as like a knitting podcast goes, since it's been so long since I've really made one of these, I feel like, you know, doing the classic like finished objects, works in progress, whatever, like new acquisitions, I feel like that format doesn't feel good to do right now, or rather than feel good, I think it's just not as like conducive to my creative process, because I have like ADHD brain, so many things going on. I will try to record and release regularly, but at the same time, you know, I want this to be authentic to like how I create and stuff like that. So I think what I want to do is just kind of talk about like what's going on, like what I'm up to, what I've done, and hopefully over time it'll resemble some form of linearity or something. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep this away from the microphone because it's gonna be loud, but like, I got these beads from a thrift shop in Portland for $5 for the whole thing, and I've kept it around because I knew I would want to make beaded jewelry with it, but like I haven't actually gotten around to making the jewelry until like now, and so that's like 2 years after I got those beads. But it's really exciting because, you know, I've slowly been picking up like beads or like little earring wires or little jump rings, pliers, like just like in drips and drabs I've been collecting it. And so along the way, I think I would doubt myself, like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I keep just like getting the stuff and then not doing anything with it? And so I almost talked myself out of like even starting. But then one day, when I realized I kind of had everything I needed to like make some simple earrings, once I got some head pins, then I just kind of sat down, messed around, and then before I knew it, I had made like 4 unique earrings. And I was like, oh, I guess it really is that easy. And so it was nice, I guess, the moment I was ready to do it, I already had the stuff to do it. So it's kind of cute that like I was able to like know intuitively that I wanted to make this stuff, and I didn't give up, and I didn't talk myself out of doing it. So that is really, I don't know, It's very refreshing when you're someone who tends to doubt yourself and talk yourself out of doing stuff you want to do. Um, so yeah, since I'm talking about the jewelry, let me just talk about that first. I think I'm very excited about it. So those felted hearts that I talked about, I turned a lot of them into keychains. I added some chains, some beads, and some of these like tinkly bells. So the keychain rings, a lot of the chain, and some of my head pins are secondhand, and the felted hearts are made with fiber that's kind of waste from my spinning practice. So it's not all secondhand materials, but it does feel good that I can offset a lot of where I get my materials by getting secondhand. So like those seed beads at the bottom, I bought off of a jewelry designer who was closing down their shop, and these little pearl gold beads, as well as the tinkly bells and some of the other and some of the sequins that I will show you in a minute, I got from an Etsy shop that sells Indian beads and sequins, because on They See Clothes you have a lot of like embroidered sequin work and a lot of like beads embroidered onto the surface of the fabric. And so I knew that I wanted to incorporate a little bit of that kind of vibe into whatever I would make, because that's just kind of where my mind naturally goes, I guess. I mean, when we're talking about like soft adornments, it's not just fiber arts. It's like I love adorning myself. I feel like I'm very lightly adorned right now, but normally I have like a few chain necklaces, like I have my little like churia, my bangles. I have I'm always wearing these little baby hoops, but then in my second holes I like to wear like big chunky dangly something earrings. So I don't know, just a lot of my approach to self-expression is through the lens of like adornment, and like adornment as a expression of like beauty and adoration and like reverence, and I just love all that. So I think it almost, like, upon reflection, doesn't surprise me that even though I'm a knitter and fiber artist, that I want to make like jewelry and sell it. I don't know. Life's a funny thing. I'll show a couple more. So I also tried making keychains without the felted hearts, just beaded. I think this is something I'm gonna have to work a little bit more on. I mean, I like the little simple daisies that I made. There's one tinkle bell. Not too in your face, just a little bit. But I used cotton sashiko thread for that, actually, and I mean, it kind of works, but like I'm a perfectionist and I don't love how you can see the little knots that I've made, but again, this is like my first time, so I also need to be like nicer to myself and not hold myself to like a super professional standard, especially because, again, I just started. Okay, I'll show you some of my earrings that I made. So, the felted hearts. In addition to making keychains, since they're all unique, I made like one-off earrings of the felted hearts, because, you know, like the gays and theys love to mix and match earrings. I love to mix and match earrings. So for anybody who wants to have like a singular earring vibe, they can have that too. Yes, so some of the non-felted hearts earrings that I've made. These are just head pins, earring wires, a little bit of chain, and mixed beads, new and secondhand. I really love these. Like, I really wanted to make sure I made things that I could sell for like a range of a price point. So any of these only beaded ones are gonna definitely be cheaper than the ones with felted hearts. And also, since I'm in my beginning stages, like, I don't want to charge a hefty amount for my earrings right now because, you know, I want to be mindful both of the process that I put into making these, while also being respectful of, like, I'm a beginner, like, I don't want to pay, or I don't want to charge professional level prices for something I just started doing like this week, you know? So I'm trying to find that balance. Like, I don't think I can sell these for like $5, but I don't think it's like wise to sell these for like $50 right now, you know? So some more. Oh wait, I just showed you the same one. I made 2 of that pair. I also made these, which I'm really excited about. Just kind of cute little danglies. So I'm trying to make like kind of smallish earrings, but I love a dangly earring. I love a long dangly earring. I think it's like, it's my version of like non-binary adornment is just like incredibly long earrings. I haven't made any like shoulder length duster earrings yet, but that's a goal. But this is kind of some of the long earrings that I've made. Kind of like right almost to the shoulder. And these have some like pink flower sequins. And it's funny about these crystal beads, actually, these little ones in between. I actually got those from Red Alder Fibre Fest last year. There was a bead store that I cannot remember the name of. I'll try to look it up afterward. But they like make beads for the knitting world or whatever, or it's like where the knitting world gets their beads. And I bought one of those like little crochet hooks that you can use to put beads on your knitting. And so I bought the beads with the intention of, incorporating them into a shawl or something. Then I also got these pink ones. But I kind of just wanted to use them as beads in earrings. So I've been having a fun time with that. So I just showed you the star ones. Then there's also some like butterfly ones. And two colors of candy ones, because I'm sure not everybody is into pink and purple like I am. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun making these. There's a vendor's market happening on Sunday called Cutie Fest. And what's cute about Cutie Fest is it's like punk style, just show up and vend, like no vendors fees. And so I think it's a really low stakes way for me to kind of enter into the vending game. It's something I wanted to do for a long time, but I've always had a hard time like having stuff to sell, I guess. And so it's nice that I had this little like burst of inspiration with the beads that I already had and the felted hearts that I already had. And so I can kind of just try my hand at it, see how it feels. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So whatever doesn't sell at the market, I'll probably put online if anybody wants to buy. If not, I'll just give them away to friends or something. But I'm very excited about my beading adventure. After being such a connoisseur of earrings for so long, it feels good to like contribute to that, Okay, enough about beads. Got that out of the way. On to what most of you are probably here for, which is Fibre and Fibre stuff. So I'm going to talk about this box of current works in progress that I have. I have a lot of other works in progress that are kind of on hold. And they're in this basket behind me, and in the spirit of not shaming myself into working on stuff that I don't feel like working on, I'm just gonna leave them in there. I have started making a habit of like going through my on hold works in progress and seeing if I still want to work on them in the future, or if I want to frog them. And I just recently frogged a few things, so it feels good to like know that whatever's on hold is like stuff I actually want to work on. But what I'm working on right now includes, so I'm going to start with this Best Beanie. And this is for my partner. He likes very dark colors. So this This yarn is a Blue Sky Fibers worsted weight, and I had originally knit some tin can knits mitts for Jacob out of this yarn, but after just a little bit of use, the gloves really started to, like, I don't know, pill really badly, like in big chunks. And so I feel like it's because the yarn is like not super dense, and it's like a 2-ply, very like bouncy yarn. And so I feel like maybe there's like too much friction between the fibers, and so that made it not great for something high wear like mitts, especially in a climate like in Washington where it's gonna rain, it's gonna be wet. So yeah, I think it was just not a good candidate for mitts, but you know, it's woolly, so it should be in like an accessory, I feel like, something to stay warm. And so I know Jacob's wanted a beanie for me for a long time. I'm adding a little bit of mohair for a fuzz factor and to also kind of dampen that foresty green, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, it's a nice easy little knit. I don't think I've knit a best beanie yet, but I mean, James Watts like never misses, so this is I think it's gonna be a hit. The goal is to finish it by Christmas. Next up, so my best friend was just visiting recently, Kat, and they told me that that what they really appreciate is usable art. So like art that is functional, something that they can use all the time, but is like a beautiful thing, kind of like, I guess, so that their daily life is like beautiful or whatever. So they're talking about how crochet scrubbies would be like, or knit scrubbies would be a really cool gift for them. So I took that into mind, knew that they have some like cool innovations in scrubby yarn technology at Joann's, and so I saw that Red Heart had exactly what I was looking for, which is polyester scrubby yarn, because as much as I love cotton in every other application, I don't know that I trust a cotton scrubby to not get moldy, you know? And so I found this Red Heart like polyester like scrubby yarn. And yeah, and so I picked it up and I'm having a good time knitting it. I'm just making little granny squares out of it, keeping it simple. So yeah, I mean, like, I think in general, as far as like using synthetic fibers goes, I'm trying to reduce or minimize as much as I can when I do use synthetic. At this point, I think I've gotten it down to like, I use about half superwash and half non-superwash, which is definitely down from when I started and I was using all superwash all the time. And it's been a really long time since I've knit with nylon or plasticky fibers, so you know, I feel like maybe these release microplastics, to be honest with you, now that I look at these little tiny fibers. But at the same time, like, you know, when you're giving a gift to somebody, like, I don't really want to like always give somebody a gift that they have to like use in a super high maintenance way, you know. Like, I want people to just be able to like throw it in the wash, like not have to like worry about it getting moldy. And you know, if you can argue, or if you can make a case for cotton scrubby yarn being just as effective and not susceptible to mold, then I'm open to hearing it. My brain just was like, ew, that's gross, and so I grabbed the nylon stuff. So it is what it is. Next one, my dotted rays shawl. So this was originally cast on as part of my friends Kira and Christy's chill shawl cowl, and I started it with them. And I've just taken the chillest cowl ever, because I'm still working on it months and months and months after they finished theirs. But I mean, I think that was the point of the cowl. It was like, as chill as you want it to be, no rush or whatever. But Dotted Rays is a really good, like, mindless knit. I really enjoyed picking it up and putting it down. It's very easy to figure out, like, what you were doing last. And Christy had this really cool tip that I took to heart, which is, I think the pattern has an instruction, like, knit to X stitches before the last time you did the thing. And I have a hard time, like, knitting and then stopping and counting, like, okay, am I 13 stitches before, or am I 10 stitches before, whatever, and it just disrupts your flow. And so their tip was that on the previous row, put a marker where you're supposed to stop the next row. That way, when you're knitting the next row, you can just knit to the marker. Super easy. So, credit to Christy for that tip, because, I don't know, I love knitter hacks. I love people, like, figuring out ways to make things easier for yourself, because knitting is not only a product process, it's a process. Like, you should enjoy what you're knitting, you know? Next up is something I am very excited about. So this is finished sleeve 1 of my partner Pullover, which my buds and I are knitting together to wear to Rhinebeck. This is going to be our Rhinebeck sweaters. And I love how everybody makes theirs so different. Like, what I want to do is waves all over, but then because I'm going to make a cropped version, the body's going to be all waves, and then the checks are only going to be on the wrist of the sleeve. So it'll be like waves and then like a little kind of smattering of checks at the very bottom. So I'm very excited about it. This is in Kindred Red yarn. The pink color is Skate Spark, and it has little bits of like yellows in it. So it's like a cool like neutral, or what am I calling it? It's like a cool solid where it's like not fully solid, but it's like it's got a little bit of interest going on even in the cuff. And then the rainbow color, I don't remember the name of, but it's like a white, like kind of off-white base with like some neon yellow, blue, green, pink speckles, and so I don't know, I really like it. It's like not too in your face, but you can definitely tell that there's like some rainbow in there, so it's like a good balance of like loud and colorful. So I have the whole first sleeve done, and I just started the second sleeve. So have to have this done by mid-October. So, ooh, wish me luck. And then this is something that I'm kind of messing around on. So this is a super cool, easy, fun bandana designed by my friend Maker Bee. And I'm making this in some handspun of mine that I also carded myself. So it's got this like dreamy, pinky, purpley vibe, and it's also very cushy because it's like thickly spun. And I also put some gummy bear beads in it. I don't know if that even looked like anything, but I don't know. It's very cushy. I'm very excited about it. And it's super, like, I mean, they weren't kidding when they were saying it's super easy, because it's very, very, very easy. Okay, last active knitting crochet whip is my Battenberg Cardigan. So I got this yarn in a Ziploc bag from Seattle Recreative. It's this like light fingering, like lace weight, neon green. It feels like non-superwash wool, and there was like 5 balls of it, and the Battenberg cardigan calls for like several dozen squares, granny squares. So I was like, I don't know what else I'm going to use this in. So I'm holding this triple, and I think it's working out very nicely. Yeah, it's got that like nice like granny square look to it. Like it's I think holding it triple was a good call, because holding it double is like pretty much just fingering weight, but I think the pattern calls for DK weight, so 3 strands is doing the trick. I have 18 squares in here. We will see if I can make all of the squares in this neon green color. I think it would be cute to have like neon green cardigan, you know? I don't know what the like main color is going to be. Maybe I can like do a scrappy main color so that like if I can achieve the actual squares being the same color, then like the connecting yarn can be like kind of a cool multicolored thing going on. Or maybe I'll just, I don't know, get a really simple like white DK from like Knit Picks or something. I don't know. We will see. Alright, that's all of the knitting whips I have. So I wanted to show off some of my flying geese that I'm making for a quilt I'm making as a gift. Very excited. This white was secondhand fabric I was gifted, and this multicolored was a fat quarter I got from this fabric store in Portland. I can't remember the name of, but it was super cool. They had all the cool, like, I mean, I'm very new, so I don't know if it's cool fabric brands or whatever, but what I think is the cool fabric brands, like the Ruby Star Society and all that stuff. So that was really cool to go see. I picked up some fabric for some projects I want to work on. Once I can get all this beading stuff off my desk, I can finally get back to my sewing projects. So yeah, I think I want to make like sawtooth stars out of these flying geese, and then make a bunch of sawtooths and just kind of piece them together. So I'm not really following a pattern, I'm just, you know, seeing what happens. And I've been spinning a bunch. So I carded this bat that I can actually show you some roll-logs of, and I spun one part of it really thin, one part of it really thick, and I'm gonna try to do like a core spun kind of thing going on. Whenever I'm spinning, I'm not really trying to achieve like a really even quality. I mean, you know, I make a general effort to, but I'm not really too perfectionist on myself with it. It's just kind of not the vibe right now, you know? Maybe sometime in the future, but not right now. So here is one of the bats that I carded. I picked up some wool neps from Northwest Yarns to add some texture. I don't know if I've like got it yet, but you know, they're in there, so we'll see if they take when someone's spinning. I also added some pink sari silk, this blue wool I picked up from my friend Annabelle's D-Stash. I think they said it was unknown, possibly Corriedale, that they indigo dyed. And then I also added some white undyed Jacob wool and some alpaca. That's local alpaca. And I think in this bat I also combed through in a couple of places some mohair locks and possibly even a Wensleydale lock. So I don't know, trying to like keep it textural, keep it trying to experiment and see what happens. Yeah, you can kind of see the locks in that one a little bit more. So these are kind of like sample spins of these, and so I'm gonna sell these also at the market, and we will see if anybody wants them. You know, I need to not be so self-deprecating. I need to just be like, you know, these are gonna be on sale, and hope somebody wants them. See? Look at how easy that was. Here's another one that I carded. The red is from a Merino bat that I had. I just pulled off a tiny chunk to give some color to whatever I was carding. That indigo wool again, some of that alpaca and a bigger chunk here. It's super soft with the alpaca. And then that sari silk again. Oh yeah, and I've been carding, so I previously was carding using just some hand carders that I had, but I was able to pick up a drum carder for $40 from the Creative Reuse store. It's a little old and beat up, and the gear for like the smaller wheel in front, like that gear rubber band broke, so the front wheel doesn't work, but just the main drum like does work. And you know, I like use my hand carder to like comb it from the top. I got like a grout brush to like push all the fiber into the spokes, so we're making it work. But I've been able to card like this stuff, so you know, I'm very happy with it actually. Oh, here's that alpaca. Let me show you some of the fibers that I've been using. Oh, actually, before I get into the fibers that I'm using, let me show you what I picked up yesterday, because that's gonna be a good segue from that into this. So, went to Bellingham the other day because they have my favorite my favorite yarn store, Northwest Yarns. Well, they're my favorite fiber art store, I should say, because they have so much stuff. They have like stuff for dyeing, they have stuff for spinning, they have stuff for every fiber art you could think of. And so the actual like yarn selection is like much smaller, I think, than like what some other yarn stores have. But that being said, they do have a lot of good yarn. They have a huge Morrow selection, so like, you know, the yarn selection is not to be taken lightly, but I mostly go there for the non-yarn stuff. So I got my Wensleydale locks from there, I got my sari silk from there, I got these wool neps from there, and I got undyed ivory mohair for $1.75 per little baggie. And it's super soft. Like, I've been just carding this into whatever I'm carding, and like it adds such a like softness to it. But I'm also thinking like of spinning it really finely and then like core spinning around that, or just, you know, there's just so much you can do. I love fiber so much. What I'm very excited about is I picked up some dyes. I picked up some acid dyes, purple, golden yellow, well, it's lilac, golden yellow, and hot fuchsia. 3 of my favorite colors. So I want to dye some of this undyed wool I have. I also got this indigo extract for indigo dyeing. And yeah, I'm very excited to experiment with these. I think like I do want to try natural dyeing. I really want to try kitchen scrap dyeing specifically. But I think before I dive into that, I want to do something a little simpler. Apparently you don't need a mordant with indigo extract. I did read that I need I need vinegar or citric acid for acid dyes, but I'll probably just do vinegar because that's what I have, even though it's gonna smell vinegary. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to actually finally try dyeing as somebody who's really into color, you know, like I feel like it's the natural next stage of my evolution. So now I can show you, I have this alpaca from Chelsea Farms, which is like, I think, like within 30 miles of here. Just super cute that this came from so close by. I got this from a yarn store in Renton, which is a little bit south of here, and I think the farm was close to Renton. So I actually spun a good amount of this into a really thin single, and I was going to ply it with this Falkland that I'd been spinning for a long time, but that plan actually, and that was going to be my contrast color for my partner pullover. That didn't end up happening. Big relief that I didn't have to spin a sweater's quantity because I don't think I'm there yet. Plus, I don't think I spun these enough, because when I started applying this to the other bobbin, which is the same fiber, it started coming undone, so this one's in timeout. And then also to dye, we have some more of that. So this is the other half of that possibly Corriedale braid from Annabelle that they dyed half of in indigo. So you can see a little bit of where I tore off the indigo pieces. So I might dye the rest of this indigo. I might try to dye it a different color and kind of see what happens. But it's fun that I already have all these different fibers to experiment with. Like I have the alpaca, I have this, I have some of that mohair, I have this undyed Jacob. And Jacob's been very fun to spin with. It's very like bouncy but toothsome. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm still learning the words, but it almost feels like I'm describing wine, you know what I mean? And then Corriedale locks. So the locks came a little bit dirty, like they'd obviously been scoured, but there's still like some dirt in there. And so I washed them again, agitated them a little too much because they definitely felt it a little bit. But in the end, they were very soft. A lot of them were like totally clean and like good to just be spun. Some of the ones are still a little tippy, so I set those aside for dyeing. I did read that if you have a little bit of dirt in your fiber, that it's okay to keep that one for dyeing, because dyeing is going to put it through a lot more processing. So maybe that extra wash was like unneeded and I could have just dyed all of that, but I'm happy to have some of that, some of those locks that are just ready for spinning, because I've been wanting to do like lock spun for a long time. And finally, I went to Rag Finery in Bellingham, which is a textile diversion center and textile specific creative reuse store. So I was able to pick up this Indian woven cotton, super pretty. I think it's definitely like a big goal of mine to like, you know, learn more about like South Asian textile techniques. Like, I mean, this is just like typical Desi like tie-dye style. Like, I don't know, I just want to learn it all. I want to get closer to like my heritage of like, or textile techniques that people of my heritage employed and like are close to, you know? I also raided their fabric section and I found a bunch of like really cute baby style fabrics. So like this teddy bear, these kind of like 90s baby colors, and then a bunch of like solid offcuts, which I definitely need. Like I don't get enough solid colors of fabric, so it makes it really hard to do patchwork sometimes. So I'm excited to have some solids, a couple of ginghams, and then I found these two really sweet like soft pastel florals, which I'm very excited about. Like the yellow, pink, purple, blue, like that's all 100% me. Well, I think that's all I have to talk about actually. I've been doing more stuff like weaving and stuff, but I have that kind of hanging up right now and I don't want to mess with it. The weaving has been really fun though. Like it's been, so like anytime, kind of how I talked about before with like my spinning waist that I hold on to, like sometimes if I'm experimenting with my knitting or crochet, like one time I wanted to make a headband, that didn't work. So I'll just kind of like throw the failed experiment somewhere. And what's nice about my weaving is that I've been able to take that stuff and incorporate it into my weaving, and so that's been a really cool way to like bring new life to it and not make it feel like I wasted something. So that's been really cool and empowering, I guess, as an artist to like breathe new life into stuff that I tried working on or whatever. And I've been putting a lot of my handspun and my felting into my weaving as well, so I hope to share more about that in the future. One of my weavings was featured in a zine and kind of projected art gallery at NB Party recently, so that was really a really big deal to me, to be featured like as an artist under my name. And yeah, it was very, very cool. I like don't even have the words to describe it. But I don't know, this year I think has been really big for me creatively, and I'm just really excited to see kind of where it goes. I'm gonna keep leaning into my makes and yeah, just let the passion and the joy guide me or whatever. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. You know, I do all kinds of things. I think I introduced this as a knitting podcast and talked about a lot of things that are not knitting. So it'd probably be more accurate to call this my like crafting podcast. But you know, if you're interested in what I make, thank you so much. It means a lot to me that people are interested in the little things I make in my little room. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and you can find me on Instagram at soft.adornments, and I will see you next time.